But nice. Hi to the people who are. So okay,
if no one's watching us.
No, yet. No one is. No, well, and to actually.
Oh, this is more people go look at it later.
Yes.
Yeah, you can sit.
Let me sit, and then you kind of.
Sit.
I'm gonna struggle for a second. Okay. I just want you to have some space.
Oh, okay, I'm fine.
Come right in here.
I was just gonna go like this.
No, look, that totally works. You can see half of both of us.
We got halves. Well, this would be a half of me.
Okay, fine. 3/4 of both of us. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Here we are. We are having such a good time.
We added something else to our repertoire.
Yes, we are trying to go live once a week on YouTube. Of course, we will save the video so you can watch it later. We want to talk about Goofus Glass. We're trying to find one specific item. Last week it was nesting hens, so you can go watch that as well.
But I wasn't on there, so it's not as fun.
So this will be way more fun with two of us talking about Goofus Glass. So Goofus Glass, there's not a ton of information, and I feel like every webpage that I looked at, every video I watched, probably the same for Beth. I don't know how many different places she looked. It kind of all said the same thing. So I'm not going to tell anybody like super new, but it's just kind of an overview so you become familiar with the vintage, well, the antique item. These would all be prior to the 1920s. So all 4 of the items I'm going to show you are actually antiques. Antiques have to be 100 years old, in case you didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, but...
Have I educated you on the age of vintage and antiques?
No, I knew that.
Oh, you didn't know that. Okay.
Vintage is 25.
Yes.
Antique is 100.
You're so smart.
I didn't go to this website when I was looking. Goofus Glass by any other name would be pressed glass.
That they cold painted.
Or mold blown glass with cold painted, not fired on in a furnace decoration. So Goofus Glass, it wears off.
Hey, Brandon.
Goofus Glass, the paint wears off.
The like paint is going to wear off. Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys some pieces.
I'm jumping ahead, sorry.
You're totally, but it's okay, Bob. So they don't really have any records prior to like the late 1890s of Goofus Glass. They're the companies that made it, some of them, strangely enough, had fires and lost all their records. So none of those exist, but it is a type of pressed glass, and it's beautiful. There's many. I mean, they're just really delicate, even intricate patterns in these pressed glass pieces, and
many were flowers or fruit.
Yeah, flower. And actually, that's kind of what I have. I have 4 flowers and no fruit.
You're a fruit. So we have plenty of fruit in the room.
We do. We're nicely balanced then. So one thing that was sort of interesting that I learned is like if you find a piece that most of the paint has come off of it, don't repaint it. The collectors don't want it repaired. So they would rather see it in this condition.
Yeah, guys, I can see it coming along with spray paint and
I was totally thinking, well, I've got gold paint. Maybe I could just repaint it. So this piece is pressed glass, but it's a blown pressed glass.
I wonder how they did that.
See, there's bubbles.
They made the vase and then put it into the...
You know what we really should do is back up. Not today, but back up and do a video on how glass is made. Well, not us making the glass, but...
how pressed mold is made?
Yeah.
Or pressed glass?
Pressed glass, blown glass.
When it's blown like this, is there a line for the press?
I feel like I saw. Yes. Well, I mean, it must be. Yes, right there.
Okay. I mean, they have to have it someplace open and close it.
Yeah.
Well, how in the hell?
How in the heck
did they do it?
We're going to have to look into that.
Yeah,
so we have a little deeper knowledge.
Maybe they blew it into the mold.
Yes, they blew it into the mold.
I'm so smart.
She's a quick one. So you guys can see the differences in the condition of these two pieces.
Ooh, we have two people here.
Oh, we do?
Heartland Picker.
And Heartland Picker.
Oh, Heartland Picker. Sorry.
It's Brandon.
I am blind.
Brandon, who is like my vintage child.
Oh, okay. Vintage child or your...
Brandon,
What
if you're...
about your real children, Mom?
I know, you're my vintage children too, but he's not really my child.
We have a circus here today.
We do have a little bit of a circus.
There's
Okay.
even a peanut.
So, ask me your question. You had a question. Now 3. Oh, do we have 3 of us watching?
Is that on mute over there?
I'll see. I can't see. I don't know.
I forgot my question. Shoot.
You were going to ask me.
Where did the name Goofus come
Where
from?
did the name come from? So the name came from people thought they had made a mistake. Oh, no, it's a joke. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, wait a
now
second.
3 comments.
Got it. Keep talking, Brandon. That's 4.
Yeah, it's actually, I found that.
Oh, you can answer your own question.
Yeah, many of the... Wait. Oh, that's kind of cool.
So originally they tried to make it seem like really fancy. They called it Egyptian art. Intaglio was another name, which has something to do with like how they pressed the glass, whether it was a raised or impressed pattern in it. Oriental art was, I think, another name, but people thought it was kind of tacky, and so they called it gypsy art or gypsy glass. That was another common name.
They thought they goofed.
Yeah, so why we call it Goofus Glass today is because people very commonly started calling it goofed. Like they thought there was...
Or fooled.
Yeah, they thought it was a mistake. Like they had been fooled by the company into believing it was like this awesome stuff. But it doesn't... You're not actually supposed to handle it by any... It's flaking. Any parts that have the cold paint on them. Because it's going to flake off super easy.
Yeah, I was just reading how people would wash it off because they thought it was a mistake.
Yeah, not supposed to be like that.
Yeah. Or they didn't like the way it was flaking off, so they just washed off the rest of it.
They took it off. So the reason that it was so prolific is they gave it away as like carnival prizes or
the gas station.
Yeah, you get $5 worth of gas or 5 gallons of gas, and here's a piece of glass.
Cinemas, jewelers, other merchants is what it says. Why can't we go back to that? Where you actually get something for going for
I like the free coffee that I got yesterday.
Well, everybody gives away free coffee, but I'm talking like these are pretty.
These are really these are nice quality.
And Hy-Vee would have you spend so much money and you get a free
that
piece
was even when we were a kid.
Right. And now you get Monopoly pieces and you might win a free burger. Whoop-boo! Whoever wins at Monopoly at McDonald's, I need to know.
I think they eat a lot of McDonald's. That would be my goal. So here's another piece that I have in the store. This one, is silver and red.
Like they did the silver and then they did the red.
Yeah, so it's red on the back. So once again, if you have pieces of these or see them, don't touch the actual paint. Try and touch it where either it's flaked off or the edges
painted. I love that.
Yeah, so they would literally take enamel paint, put it on the cold glass, and it would not be fired after that.
So it's cheap.
It was a very cheap process for them.
Vases, powder boxes, and lamps.
Milk glass was commonly done.
No milk glass. On Wikipedia it said milk glass is not part of Goofus Glass.
But there's examples of it in other places. Wikipedia.
I'm just telling you.
Maybe it was called something else. She's pulling out the stops. Pulling out all the stops.
This was specifically something I remember reading.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because you like your milk glass.
I do like my milk glass. I have milk glass that's been cold painted.
But it's not Goofus
But it
glass.
must not be considered Goofus glass. So the piece before had the silver and then the red, and then this one had the red put on in different spots, and then the gold put on. So it's just really fun. And like, look at all those details in that glass.
It was the original carnival glass.
Yes, I did read that too. Like it was around before what we commonly known as carnival glass. I don't know that I have any in front of me. And they quickly, that piece is not this one. That is not carnival glass. I don't have any carnival glass in front of me.
You don't have much carnival glass.
I don't have a ton of it.
Something else I was just reading. Many people called it Mexican glass because of the red, green, and gold.
Yes, the bright colors. So that was associated with the Mexican type of art. So the yellows, the greens, the reds, golds. It was very garish. Lots of colors.
Okay, the term generally excludes milk glass and painted jewelry, items produced after the 1930s, and items produced outside the U.S. So it's not those three things. So milk glass, painted jewelry, and items made after the 1930s. Oh, and items produced outside the U.S.
Because in the late 20s, early 30s, they started making real carnival glass. And so this kind of fell out of
Yeah, and
fashion.
it was the same company. It was Indiana Glass Company.
Yeah,
did
and
this,
they got a new
and then
process.
Then they did the carnival as well.
Yeah. Yes. Look at us looking at the same information and knowing stuff.
Aren't we? Sure. Because like you said, there wasn't a lot of information about it out there.
No, like I read one webpage and then I went to a video and they said exactly what was on the website. So, and you guys can obviously, I'll go watch those. I just thought it was really interesting. The process, it was pretty short lived. It was only about 25, maybe 30 years that it was produced.
Buy 5 gallons and get a bowl and a plate. Buy a movie ticket and get a bowl. Would you want to take a gift to a wedding reception? Take the bridal jar filled with pickles.
Can you imagine getting that for your wedding?
Want to have a door prize? Give away a box of 6 luncheon plates. So basically, they were telling lies to the people that the manufacturers couldn't sell them, but they did. They sold them to promoters of carnivals and medicine show owners.
Medicine show owners.
Yeah, you know the medicine.
Oh yeah,
the fake medicine shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so super fun.
Every sort of business. Why can't we go back to that? We give stuff away on our Whatnot shows.
Let's give away Goofus Glass.
Really? You can give away a piece of Goofus Glass?
No, I'm going to keep my Goofus. Well, I mean, I'd like to sell my Goofus Glass. So all 3 of these pieces would be available for sale if anybody's interested. You can send us a message.
Buy a new suit.
Get a piece of Goofus Glass.
It wasn't called Goofus Glass.
Oh.
Oh, on the door, maybe.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
It's allergies bad.
Yeah.
Get it in Taglio fruit bowl if you buy a suit. Buy an engagement ring. Get a vase or a set of dishes.
So if you get engaged, they'd give you your dishes as well.
And then Grandpa and Grandma boxed it up and put it in the barn or the cellar. Let son George dispose of it when I'm gone.
Which is nice because then it exists because they put it into a box and nobody touched it. Because so now it's something that we get to collect and share and talk about.
Oh, this is sad. By the mid 1940s, Jane found a new use for this ugly old stuff. It was great grandchild.
Yeah.
Wash off all the paint and use the dishes, or better yet, sell them to thrift shops.
We'll buy them from the thrift stores.
Oh, do you have any puff box? Have you seen a puff box?
I've seen some like jewelry caskets.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I had a jewelry casket that was Goofus Glass.
Huh. Hoolies. Bridal glass, gypsy glass.
Yeah, I went by a lot of names.
I didn't click on this link, so I'm reading something new.
I think it's interesting how this piece is so dang shiny. But then that gold has got like a matte to it. So it's this quality of the paints they use. The queen
is an intact old oil lamp.
Oh, I saw that picture. I wish that would be awesome.
Classic umbrella shaped shade.
That was really pretty. It was a beautiful. It had the glass shade that was kind of bulbous, and then the round bottom was beautiful. It's like in reds and golds, and if you found that piece and it was in decent shape, good shape, that is the ultimate piece of Goofus Glass. Only one book has been published about Goofus Glass.
Well, there's not a lot about it.
Because
so.
there isn't much information. Wonder if it has more pictures.
Hand applied decorating. All over decorator, one side or the other of the piece was completely painted.
You'd be sitting in the factory just painting your Goofus Glass. So it wasn't called Goofus Glass.
Okay, so some of them were all over paint, which is I think the style we have, and then other ones were pattern decorated. So they would just
So
paint
maybe
the
more
pattern.
like this. This would be more pattern painted.
They painted the red flowers and then put the gold over the rest.
Yeah. I would say so.
Oh, well, this one says that milk glass is often seen with both types of decoration.
Yeah, I think Wikipedia is wrong. Wikipedia
This
is
isn't Wikipedia. This is the book.
No, I'm saying
I
when
see.
you said bleh.
Well, Wikipedia
Yes.
said, well, milk glass is milk glass. It's not necessarily Goofus glass.
Right, but it's that style.
Yes.
Because there isn't one brand, it's more a style of glass, a technique used for glass rather than a brand.
Well, and you could have used it because the paint was on the outside of the
Yeah.
glass, so you could still use the
Well, they
tray.
didn't have dishwashers. So you were good with your hand washing.
You just wash the top.
You know, very careful with the bottom.
Well, don't get the bottom dirty.
Okay. Put your cheese and your crackers on top of the plate and just brush it off.
Okay, so they said about the milk glass place, they don't. I don't feel it is properly referred to these simply as Goofus glass. So
Oh.
it's just maybe the style of painting on the milk glass,
Okay.
not necessarily Goofus glass.
See, now I've learned something. Thank you, Bethany.
You're welcome. I feel like I should have read this article before.
Well, I watched several videos and then I realized they were all kind of telling me the same thing. So, which we've all told you the same thing too, but we're way more fun about it.
I love this. So I think this is the one book that was written about it. But after much research, contacting leading experts, buying books by the carload, telephone calls, emails, and so on, I have been led mostly in circles. I began to ponder why. Finally, it dawned upon me that for one thing, at the turn of the century, there were no photocopiers,
Mhm.
no digital cameras, no scanners, and no computers, etc. So we take so much for granted today. If a manufacturer wanted to create a catalog of sorts, he had to hire artists to sketch the products. Therefore,
It became really expensive to catalog.
yeah, so there's no
Yeah.
information about Goofus Glass per se, because it was just a flash in the night, if you will.
Yeah, 20 years in the antique or in history is a pretty small amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
And fires.
Yeah, I thought I had read because with their glass work, so it's all about the fire.
Embers everywhere.
Hey, Mom, I've got a question. Do you have a minute?
Oh, we do have a minute.
I think
Oh.
she needs you out there.
Oh, I'm coming. Here, and Beth can sit in the chair and she can keep talking about Goofus Glass.
Nah, I'm
I
fine.
can go this far.
Price on that lecture.
Indiana Glass Company, she found a few pages from that in the catalog.
Yay. $5 to me.
Okay, $9.
$5. Yes.
Oh, she said that there was an entire,
Mom,
or
I need card payments. How am I gonna do
We will bring you the tablet because we're not really using the tablet for.
that?
We're just watching the comments.
so at the turn of the century,
Yeah, is it in
many of the factories had combined into a giant factory known as the National Glass Company. Therefore, there was one factory making all of the things, and they didn't have what's the word I'm looking for? A catalog.
I'm sorry, what?
The National Glass Company, National Glass Combine, went bankrupt around 1907. So, and they had there were 9 companies that formed the National Glass Company. So, and all their records burned. It says so.
well, that would put a damper on what we know about. Yes, so the
Yes.
different companies that made it are Dugan, Indiana Glass, Westmoreland. Those are some of the better known companies.
Lancaster Glass Company, Crescent Glass Company,
Oh, you're finding more.
McKee Glass Company, not McGee, sorry, Mike.
It's
LaBelle
okay.
Glass Works and Indie Glass of Dunkirk, Indiana.
Yeah.
And the Indiana Glass Company was one of the most prolific producers of it, so.
Mom, can I have a tablet, please?
Yes.
Natural gas to fire the furnaces.
And how much did you say on the?
The chair $5.
Yeah, and then on the.
Huh. So the glass factories,
Oh, they were
we're learning about glass factories today. The glass factories
Yeah.
were surprisingly in one area where there was a lot of natural gas.
So that's why they had the factories there.
Mhm.
We've learned more than Goofus Glass. We've learned about why the companies were.
If one were to superimpose a map of gas wells with an overlay of glass factories in America, it would coincide perfectly. Huh. Interesting. I'm learning a lot more than the other articles. This is a really good
I
information.
read that article too.
Oh. Well, sit down and talk to your people.
I have no. I was actually sort of out of things to talk about.
You should
So
talk about more. Heyday lasted between 1897 and 1920.
Yep, we took. Yep, it was about. Sorry, I just keep kicking the chair and I'm totally missing. It was about
23,
20,
25.
25, 30 max years that it was.
Intaglio was between 1905 and 1909. So after that,
Yeah,
they started
just-
calling it Goofus Glass. And then Carnival Glass, the real Carnival Glass, took over.
Yeah,
In
and it was
1908.
much more permanent because Carnival Glass still exists.
Yes,
Like even the early pieces. Or the
and
Goofus
it didn't
ones.
flake.
It didn't flake. It wasn't flaky.
This is really kind of cool. I mean, I've never heard of Goofus Glass before until you told me this was a piece of Goofus Glass. And I'm like, what's Goofus Glass? And these pieces have been floating around for a really long time.
Yeah.
Where'd this one come from?
I
Don't know.
I don't know. This was also blown. You can tell by the bottoms if it's pressed or if it's blown. Blown mold. See where this one has, you can see the line.
The mold line?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought blanks because what glass maker in their right mind was going to gussy it up. They knew it was just going to get painted all over. That's what it says.
Yeah, so that's a really good point, Beth. The ones that are considered very desirable these days are the ones that were the blanks that they sent to like a grocery store, and then the grocery store would paint their own enamel paint on it, and then make it unique for whatever their giveaway, their celebration, whatever is, because those were such limited quantities.
That's
So
interesting.
those are much more desirable in this market than, just the 4 pieces.
They made them for the
This
World
one
Fair.
is, yes, right. And so those pieces are much more collectible. This one, believe it or not, is still got a pretty good value of about $25 on it, even though the paint's pretty much gone. But it's still actually a really cool piece of glass when it comes down to it.
Old jars are given a slight leeway with rough top rims.
Yep.
Early jars top blown into molds and have their top snapped off unceremoniously. More modern processes later produced a safer product. Well, I'm so glad it wasn't sharp glass anymore.
Yeah, and I think it was probably just rough, not really. But who knows?
Goofus was sold as Packers goods used to contain pickles and mustards, and the housewives kept the colorful jars to use as vases.
Yeah.
Oh, and she has proof of that. So, like a mason jar, but it was painted.
Yeah. And it was sold with the condiment in it, so you bought it for that reason, and then it was.
And they took the mustard out of their Goofus glass and dumped it into their nesting hen.
I think they sold a lot of mustard. I think mustard was popular.
Well, it covers a lot of odd flavors. Rotten meat and stuff that they ate because they didn't know better.
Wow. You just put everybody in a box.
Well, I'm saying, Because, you know, they didn't have the storage.
They didn't have the refrigeration.
Yeah, and they didn't really know all that stuff. I'm not being mean.
Actually, I think by the late 1800s they did, but that's okay.
Icebox, but they still probably didn't know that the meat had gone bad. They used it until it was gone, right?
No, would have known.
I was just trying.
It's okay.
Mustard. Well, maybe maybe they had bad housewives, and the mustard covered the flavor of it.
Bad cooks.
Right.
Bad cooks. There you go, Bob. That's funny.
Opalescent pieces with patterns painted to accentuate them as deserving their own place, apart from rust. So, like, the gold and silver pieces were, like, special.
The silver was special.
Yeah, it's so sparkly.
It's very shiny. Here, let me show you guys again. Shiny.
So how much would that one be worth right now?
Well, I've got $10 on it, but that's my prices. I don't know. I did look up the rose vase, and that's got 25 or more. If it's got more of the gold, the more paint, original paint that's on them, without the wear. That's why this piece is actually a really good piece.
Hey Meg, this sounds like you. She goes, the author of this piece says that, you know, it's just one more piece. Might very well become your mantra as well. We happen to feel it is a real piece of old Americana if there ever was one. And then, and unfortunately, one finds they may soon need to build a larger house to be able to display all of their collections.
More shelves, more cupboards.
Haunting eBay. Yahoo's online auctions?
I've never heard of that
Yeah,
before.
this must be an old...
Yeah, an older article.
New painting is not restoring and is not repairing. You don't polish antique copper. You don't refinish antique furniture. Well, we might paint it. And you don't repaint the old master's oil paintings. So
Yes.
don't repaint your Goofus.
Yes, that's where I read. Don't repaint it.
If the paint is almost gone, perhaps it would be best to strip it all off. At least it wouldn't live a lie. Never stack it, never put it in the attic for storage subject to the ravages of extreme temperatures, and finally never put it in the dishwasher unless the paint is already gone.
I don't know that I would even put old glass in the dishwasher.
No, I would not recommend
I
that.
would just wipe it with a cloth or lukewarm.
Dust it.
Yes. Lukewarm water.
Oh, there's more. Okay, there's probably information in the story of Indiana, Pennsylvania Glass. Indiana Glass Company. Goofus Glass. There's a couple books we could go look at if we wanted to.
If we wanted to.
Oh, Pirelli Glass. Is that something we could talk about? Do you even know what that is?
I don't even know what that is.
London Lampworks Triology covering Pirelli Glass.
Oh. Well, it'd be nice if it was something we had in the store.
Oh, that's New Zealand glass. There's all sorts of glasses we could talk about.
There is.
Here,
I think next week we're gonna do paint by number.
Oh, that's right. So I need to go to the library if I did paint my number book real quick and read it. Because I just love this.
Do you have a picture you want to show?
Of what?
I don't know. What are you looking at?
Just more Goofus information.
Oh.
87th of the early 1920s.
Yeah, so there are some good websites out there. The Indiana Glass has a lot of information. There's some videos. Just type in YouTube Goofus Glass.
There's a Goofus Glass Museum website.
I did not know that. I did not scroll way down once I thought the main article was
The
finished.
Spruce Crest, did you go there? That's where I'm getting a lot of good information.
I don't know if I did or not. What are they going to tell us? Anything new?
Collectors are looking for more of the commemorative pieces.
So
the World Fair event.
Yeah. The smaller runs of stuff.
I also look
more
for
collectible ones.
Yeah, smaller or the sets, complete sets. The oil lamp is the queen, the prize. I need to sneeze again. Do not repaint it. They just said that again.
Did you catch that? You guys don't repaint your Goofus Glass.
Yeah, that's about it. But then she might have a carnival glass. She's got a lot of fencing glass. Oh, look at that display of fencing glass.
Goofus, Beth.
Hey, that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's a plate. And you have the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Beth's like, look at this.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, so I think that must have been a more common pattern.
She doesn't really
And
say
then
anything about it.
the rose vase, I think, is more common as well, but it's very cool. Mostly
Yeah,
just
this is like a smaller version.
yeah. I found this on eBay, quite a few of them, and a lot of them were in this shape. I don't recall seeing a single one that was in excellent shape. Unless some collector or museum has that, maybe. But it's not only has the roses, it has leaves on it too. Really fun.
I just love that they gave it away.
I know, right? It was like, what did we get when Mom would collect those stamps, and when you had a certain amount of stamps, did she get her like her dishes? You could get
I
sets of
think
dishes.
the dishes with the blue and red cherries on them. Remember, they were
Vaguely.
cream colored.
Yeah, and it was kind of a rosy flower or fruit on them or something. Yeah.
They would match the blue of that.
Yes, it was definitely that country blue, and yeah, so they did continue. I would say that was in the 80s probably.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say 80s.
Yeah.
Because by the 90s I was gone. So 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
We might remember a few things from the late 70s. Maybe. Not much though.
All right, I feel like we've given the information that is most pertinent.
Yeah, I think if you really want to know more about it, go to the Goofus Glass Museum's online site. I don't know what it's probably www.goofusglassmuseum.com.
Just type in Goofus Glass and Google, and
But that didn't come up in any of my searches.
oh, it didn't. You got that from another place.
Oh, I haven't been to the.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I didn't. This is the first. Like I said, this is the first time I saw this article.
Got it. Yeah. So there is a museum you can check out their website, and there's a book you can buy on Goofus Glass, and it does actually have the picture of a vase, I do believe, in excellent shape on it. So there's some sources out there if you want to dig a little deeper. Not a ton of information available, actually. So thank you all very, very much for being with us. If you're probably going to watch this video on the replay, and we do appreciate that, you can find Jean Marie's Vintage on Facebook, Instagram, whatnot, and TikTok. And we are going to try and do a new topic every Tuesday morning. All right.
Right about 10 o'clock.
Around
hopefully.
10, between 10 and 11, kind of when we get it together.
It depends what time I wake up and get in here. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real.
I was here before 9.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, me.
I win. I'm Meg. That's Beth. We're sisters, and we bicker a little bit.
Nah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm not going to have to go look up more information.